Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. I'm just going to do a little video here. I want to talk about your LDL, your HDL, and your triglycerides once again. When I've done videos about this in the past, I get everything from, I can't believe you're not listening to your doctor. They know more than you, blah, 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 blah. And those kind of responses, and you're going to die of a heart attack. um, and I can't believe that you don't listen to your doctor after you had a stroke. And I just want to put this information out there. I'm not a doctor. I don't offer this as medical advice, but food for thought. All right. Understand that doctors really aren't taught a lot about lipidology, about some of the things about lipidology. They're just taught high LDL, give statin, won't have heart attack. And that's not true. I mean, the statins that are given, like, I forget how the numbers work exactly, but I say there's 1,000 people in this study with this statin, without a statin. They'll say there's a 40% less chance of having a heart attack with the statin. It's actually like 2 people out of the 1,000 didn't have a heart attack on the statin. Like 2 more people didn't than did. It's not statistically significant, but they play with that math to say that's 40%. I don't know. Dr. Ken Berry has an excellent video on that. I'll try to find it and put a link to it. For instance, a lot of people don't know, and doctors don't know, that your LDL can go up and down throughout the day by 40 or 50 points sometimes, right? Depending on when you've eaten last, what you've eaten, if it's carbs or if it's fat, you know. Also, if you're stressed out, if you're under a particular amount of stress, if you didn't get a good night's sleep and you're really tired, if you just got off a roller coaster, if you just had a stroke the day before and now you're blind and you can't walk, your LDL will spike up. It will go higher. And it will come lower when you've had a good day. And LDL will go higher when you're fasting and lower when you're not fasting. So a lot of times your doctors have you take these lipid tests when you're fasting. And the reason they do that is because the triglycerides come down when you're fasting, and they want your fasting triglyceride level. And they're not taught the LDL changes, and depending on whether you're fasting or not. But I've done a test and come back around 130 on my LDL, and they're like, oh, you need to get on a statin. You need to get on a statin. And I don't take statins. They're poison. And so then I'll be like, well, I was fasting for almost a whole day before that. I know you say it only has to be 12 hours, but I didn't eat since dinner the night before, and I couldn't get up here to get my blood drawn until almost 5. So, you know, I was nearly 24 hours. But I'm not fasting now. Let's take it again. You don't pay attention to my triglycerides, but watch my LDL come back lower. And it'll be like 130 something when they took it the previous time, and now it'll be 95. And the doctors are always like, wow, that's really unusual, blah, blah, blah. And it's not. That's perfectly normal. So let's talk at the beginning of this, like, what is LDL, what is HDL, and what is triglycerides. They commonly say LDL is bad cholesterol, HDL is good cholesterol, and triglycerides are how much fat you eat, you know, and that's not really true. LDL is like a bolt, right? It's a low density lipoprotein, and your HDL is a bolt, and it's high density lipoprotein. And what that is that, like, things like cholesterol and coenzyme Q10 and triglycerides are fat-based. They can't go through your blood, which is more like a liquid, like water. It's like mixing oil and water. So they have to ride in this boat. So they hop in the LDL boat. So when your body is sending LDL out to the cells, because every cell, its base molecule is cholesterol. Every hormone in your body, its base molecule is cholesterol. Every cell in your body also makes cholesterol, right? Your liver will produce more cholesterol if you eat less cholesterol. So what you're eating, high fat, doesn't really affect your cholesterol. Your liver will just make less. Okay. So the LDL sends those things out to the cells, right? And it picks off cholesterol, it picks off some triglycerides, it picks off some coenzyme Q10, whatever it needs. And then when the cells make cholesterol, or they've taken cholesterol that they end up not needing, they have to return that to the liver. And that happens with an HDL, a high density lipoprotein. Takes that cholesterol and returns it to the liver. And so this is a constant process that goes on in your body. Triglycerides are just like your energy stores. And when you're storing a bunch of carbohydrates as fat, your triglycerides typically spike way up. When you're burning fat, your triglycerides go low. And triglycerides ride in the LDL molecule as well. In fact, they're mostly triglycerides. There's just a little bit of cholesterol. Okay, so understanding that those aren't good and bad cholesterol, those are the boats that can carry cholesterol. Okay, that's important. So now your LDL will go up and down. Now you have something called a lean mass hyperresponder. I am not one. But they're typically very lean people, right? That before we're always told, like, you need to carbohydrate load and do all this other stuff because you're athletic. And now they're switching to a more ketogenic diet, and their LDLs will spike. I mean, sometimes they'll hit 500, but they're perfectly healthy. And they don't have heart disease or anything like that. So that's because the LDL that they're making is healthy. All right, so there is a healthy LDL and a broken, unhealthy LDL, and we'll get to that in a minute. But a normal person that carries a little bit of body fat, I mean, I've leaned up a lot. I lost over 200 pounds. I put on 10 pounds recently. I haven't weighed since then, but I gave up the homemade bread that I was having. And I'm starting to, I can feel that my clothes are fitting a little looser again. So, the thing is that LDL can be broken. And what is a broken LDL? Well, it's a glycated LDL most commonly. So your blood sugar is high, you're responding poorly to insulin, and your blood glucose is going high, and those LDLs become glycated. That breaks the LDL. The LDL no longer can dock with the liver. It can no longer dock with the cell. Right? The cells say, you're broken, you're not in complete LDL, I'm not letting you in, right? So it floats around in your blood pretty endlessly until it becomes calcified. And it usually becomes calcified, and one of its favorite places to stick when it's calcified is your arteries. This causes all kinds of inflammation and problems on your arterial walls, right? It causes hard blockages. It becomes hard plaque. And then a lot of times when your arterial walls are getting roughened up, right, then soft plaque goes to try to patch that up, to try to cover it up, to try to heal it, to try to let the blood flow. And so we see cholesterol there, right, and hard plaque there, and we think those are the arsonists, but they're really the soft plaque is really the firemen. Right? You say, every time I see a house fire, I see firemen, they must set house fires. You know, and one viewpoint, from that one viewpoint, that looks logical, but it's not. So your LDL can become glycated, it can become poisoned with endotoxins from a leaky gut. That can break it. It can become oxidized, mostly through high carbohydrate diet, and then it becomes unhealthy LDL. Now you say, well, why not take a statin? I'm going to have some coffee. Why not take a statin and let that LDL come down? Let it get rid of the bad LDL. Statins can't get rid of bad LDL. The process, they work with the liver to make less LDL, and it also causes your liver to make less of other important things because it stops on step 2 of step 33 or whatever of making LDL, and there's all kinds of other things that the liver makes based off of step 2. So that's why you have muscle degeneration and pain and stuff like that on statins. Now you're making less LDL, and it also has another process where statins cause the liver to dock with LDL, and it thinks it has too much LDL in the blood, more than it needs, so it breaks down those LDLs and gets rid of them instead of refilling them and sending them back out. But guess what? Broken LDL can't dock with your liver. They're broken. They don't dock. So now you've reduced your healthy LDL. The poisoned, broken LDL is still floating around in your system, causing all of these problems, right? So, yeah, I mean, my LDL is normally between 90 and 130. It comes back usually 115-ish, you know. My triglycerides will be between 30 and 70, right? Depending on how long I've been fasting. And my HDL has always come back in the 80s since I've been keto carnivore. Before that, my HDL was way too low, and my triglycerides were way too high. But my LDL has always stayed in that 90 to 130 range, even when I was diabetic. Now, when I was diabetic, I still ate seed oils. And I don't eat seed oils anymore. But even then, I didn't commonly come home and fry up a bunch of food in canola oil. Although I used some canola oil. But I was really into the real butter, the lard, the bacon grease, even back then. I really think this all starts, this metabolic disorder of lipidology, of diabetes, really starts with seed oils. If you look since the 1900s, all the diseases, the heart disease, I had macular degeneration, which was caused by increasing the seed oil. When I went keto, I started eating mayonnaise like crazy with tons of seed oil in it, and I got macular degeneration. If you look at cancer rates, obesity, diabetes, all these things have almost directly correlated with our increased consumption of seed oils. Seed oils do all kinds of things, but the main thing they do is they poison the cell walls in the mitochondria. They kill the cells, cause them not to be able to absorb carbohydrates and use them. So your body has to then store them in fat because it can't put them in the muscle cells, and it makes you very sick. So since I've cut out seed oils completely over a year ago, I've started doing better and better. I no longer have any macular edema. The macular degeneration that happened is there forever. My retina is damaged. Where they burnt my retina with lasers, those spots are still there. They're permanent, right? But I don't see any wavy lines anymore. My vision gets a little better all the time. I don't see the bright flashy spots anymore. And I'll tell you, my blood sugar is well controlled now, just on its own. I don't have to take any diabetic medication, and it stays well controlled. I can cheat on my son's birthday and have a piece of birthday cake, and my blood sugars won't get over 120, 130s, and then they'll come right back down. I of course put on a pound or two, you know, if I'm eating carbohydrates, but my blood sugars aren't out of control. And I really think that's mostly the seed oils are starting to leave my body finally. But seed oils have an extremely long half-life. It's like probably 3 or 4 years for half of them to get out of your body. And I've been on doing this a little over a year. So as I continue to not eat seed oils, that will continue to not be a problem. And I would recommend the Carnivore eye doctor lady, Dr. Lisa Weideman, if you want to learn more about seed oils and removing those from your diet. I think that's a really good option. But just be aware, statins are bad, and LDL is not necessarily bad. Broken LDL is bad, but regular LDL is part of you living your life. Why is it up when you're stressed or you get off a roller coaster, a big scary coaster? It goes up because your body's expecting there might be damage. We need to get ready to build new cells and repair things. We need to get ready to stop bleeding and make scabs, right? So it spikes that LDL up to be ready, right? And then when nothing happens, it goes back down. And that's just part of your life. Your LDL will vary much throughout the day, depending on your eating window, how many meals a day you eat, whether you're fasting that day. LDL and triglycerides will vary widely. I find that my HDL stays about the same as long as I'm eating a low carbohydrate diet. When I was diabetic on 300 plus units of insulin a day with A1Cs in the 14s, my HDL became very low, my triglycerides became very high. So I'm not able to pull that back. But I will say, generally, how can you tell if your LDL are happy, if there's very large LDL and they're nice and fluffy and they're healthy and they're good? Well, they do check for the size. They do a VLDL, but that still doesn't tell you if they're broken or not. They could break when they're small or when they're large. And there's not really a test to test for broken LDL. So the way that you typically look at this is if your triglycerides are low, below 100, and your HDL is up above 60, let's say, your LDL is most likely healthy. If your HDL is low and your triglycerides are spiking up, then you have broken LDL. And you need to fix that with your diet, not by taking a statin. So I'm just putting this out there again. Hopefully it passes along to somebody and they start to at least think about it. There's many studies you can read about cholesterol if you're into that. There's many good doctors, Dr. Berry, Dr. Westman, that talk about this. Dr. Lisa Weideman, they're very good. And I would definitely watch that and consider it. Especially if you're taking statins and you're having rhabdomyolysis, you're having muscle pain. Like taking coenzyme Q10 might help the muscle pain, but the reason that you have to take it is because coenzyme Q10 is formed after that second step that it stops to keep it from making LDL. Well, your liver makes coenzyme Q10 off of that too. So your coenzyme Q10 levels go down, and that's just one of the many problems that can cause muscle pain. And so you can take a CoQ10 capsule to help that sometimes, but you're not really helping your body. You're not helping your heart disease, your plugged arteries if you had them. I've had a CTA scan. I come back completely clear, no blockages. My stroke, they don't really know what caused the clot. I had really high blood pressure spike. I hit 310 systolic when I had my stroke, and they took it on the ambulance. Went really high. So that can cause a stroke, but it usually will cause a bleeding type of a stroke. I had a clot type of a stroke. I've had 4 or 5 previous strokes that I didn't know I had, but they showed up on the MRI as well. Today my blood pressure's down. We're aiming for below 160. They have me on another medication That's really working well. It's been down in the 120s, and I feel great on it. I don't have all the muscle pain and weakness and weird stuff going on it. So I'm happy about that. But as far as what released the clot, they've done an ultrasound of my neck, my heart. They've done a CT scan of my lungs and my heart and my arteries. They didn't see any blockages or any problems. I had a stress test. I had an ultrasound. I had a nuclear test, and I had a coronary calcium score of 0. So I don't have any blockages. What you think for somebody that's 50 and has been diabetic for nearly 20 years. Not all of that was uncontrolled, though. I really kept it controlled that first 10 to 15 years. And that last 5 years, it just went whew. And it didn't matter how I ate. I was always watching my carbohydrates, but I used to try to keep it to 100 carbs per day with 3 meals and little snacks in between. And I always fall off of that diet. Just because you do, when you're eating carbs, you want more carbs. And when you're eating fat and protein, you can just eat once a day if you have to, you don't get hungry. I will say I've increased my dairy fat lately, and that's made me feel a whole lot better. Things like cheese, Parmesan, heavy whipping cream, whipped cream, dairy fats, butter, ghee. They really seem to just be like a miracle food for me. I still eat a beef, but beef has gotten really expensive around here lately. So I'm eating more things like chicken thighs, chicken legs. I'll even have some hot dogs fried up. I'll have a little bacon when it's on sale. Well, by a little bacon, I mean just 1 pound. I'll have, 6 to 8 eggs and a pound of bacon for breakfast. But that will be maybe the only time I eat that day. Sometimes I'll have a little dinner. But sometimes I don't have breakfast and I don't eat till dinner. I just eat when I'm hungry. And it's different when you're on a low carb / carnivore diet, because most of the time you're walking around like, yeah, I'm not really hungry yet. I go out to eat with people and they're like, oh, you're not eating? Like, no, I'm just here for the conversation. I already ate this morning and it's in the evening. And they're like, this morning, you're not eating, And we're at Olive Garden. I'm like, everything here has seed oil. Everything. Even the dressing for the salad has seed oil. The steaks are cooked in seed oil. The shrimp is breaded and fried in seed oil. I'm not eating this. I think last time I went to Olive Garden with my family, I had a beer. That was like my second beer in 12 years. And I just sat there and talked. And I'm not hungry. And it's weird because a lot of people will think you're being rude. So I've just found that if I say, oh, I already ate, I just ate, even if it was this morning, they're more understanding. If you try to tell them, oh, I'm really trying to lose some weight, so I'm not going to eat, they'll be more understanding than just telling them the truth. They almost look at that like you're being rude, you're not participating. Not my family really, but other people that I go out to eat with. My family's getting kind of used to it. But you just have to realize that they're carb burners and sugar addicts, and they're hungry all the time. Like, they can just eat dinner and be like, man, I'm hungry again, where I eat my eggs and bacon and I don't need to eat for another whole day. I may get a little bit, I might even get like, I'm a little hungry, but I'm okay. I have to work late because the server's down, and I don't eat. It's no big deal. I don't get this crazy hungry, like I have to eat right now or I'm gonna kill something and eat it, I don't get that hangry feeling anymore. So I'll talk to y'all later. It's Tom, your Frugal Prepper.